your dreams.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm just going to be talking about what Genshin doesn't do but Star Rail does. By the way, if you happen to like the content, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It'd be greatly appreciated. One thing I notice about Star Rail is that they tend to have rate ups for the starting characters. Those starting characters being March 7th, Dan Hong, and Asta. But on Genshin Impact, there has never been a rate up for the starting characters, Kaya, Amber, and Lisa, and I find that kind of strange. Kaya, Amber, and Lisa are one of the most hardest characters to C6 because they've never had a rate up. You basically have to whale and get lucky in order to get a C6 on one of those characters. I've managed to snag a C6 Lisa, my Amber C4, and my Kaya C2. I'm curious to know why miHoYoverse for the Genshin team hasn't made any of the starting characters appear on a rate up, but for Star Rail they do. Now granted, the starting characters in Star Rail are actually generally good. They're not busted, but they perform very well for what they do. Dan Hong is an amazing hunt character, an amazing DPS character. March 7th is a very good preservation character that will keep your team alive. And Asta is pretty good since she can boost the speed for your party members. So they're just pretty good for what they do. Now for the starting characters in Genshin, Amber is the worst one. She's arguably like the worst character in the game. No hate on her or anything. I leveled mine up to 90, but her kit is just really bad. Lisa was kind of bad at 1.2, but with the introduction of Dendro, she's a little bit more usable at least. Kaya is probably the best starting character since he is cryo. He's very easy to build. His kit is pretty basic and simple. His skill is just very basic, and his burst is pretty good for cryo application, which is good for melt reactions and stuff. His stamina passive is pretty good for the overworld, and it's also pretty good if you rely on dodging a lot, since dodging can take up your stamina. Kaya is very good, but the annoying part about him is investing in him is going to be a pain because you won't be able to get constellations for the man, since miHoYoverse never gives rate ups for their starting characters in Genshin. Same applies to the other two. Even though Amber is bad, there are people that want to invest in her, but it's going to be very hard to invest because no rate ups for Amber. Lisa, same deal, no rate ups for Lisa. Investing in these starting characters are going to be just very difficult for you because you can't get cons. One reason I can think of was why they don't have a rate up for these characters is because they don't want you to use these characters. They want you to use other characters. Either you have to spend money for it, or either you gotta wait a while to do it. I don't think they want to give free-to-play players a better hand, which is why they don't want to put these starting characters in a banner. Another reason I can think of is that miHoYoverse is nervous about putting them on a banner because that banner might not make as much money. I mean, why would players roll for a banner that has 4-star characters that they already have? That could be one explanation. Amber does have a reputation of being pretty bad, so maybe putting her on a rate up would deter people from rolling on certain banners. Would you really roll for Kazuha if Amber was on that banner with Kazuha? Frankly, you shouldn't really care about the 4 stars in a banner if you're rolling for a specific 5-star character, because you should roll for banners for the 5-star characters. So the 4-star characters should be like an added bonus. It wouldn't really hurt miHoYoverse to try and see if putting a starting character could hurt their sales. I don't think it'll hurt their sales that bad. Maybe not even at all. There are people out there that do enjoy using these starting characters, but they are frustrated that they won't be able to roll for constellations for these characters since they never get a rate up. Having constellations for these characters will help. Maybe one day miHoYoverse will put one of these 3 in a banner. Who really knows? I kind of doubt it at this point since the game's been going on for almost 3 years now. In any other gacha game, investing in the starting characters is typically easy since the game basically gives you the materials that you need for those starting characters. But in Genshin, it's a little bit harder since they don't get rate ups and their constellations can really help them out. I mean, if miHoYoverse can't afford to put these characters on a rate up, maybe just put at least one of them like in the monthly shop, like every month. The monthly shop should have 3 characters, one of them being at least 1 out of the 3 of the starting characters. Have one month be Amber, the next month be Kaya, and the next month after Kaya would be Lisa. And then after Lisa, go back to Amber again. miHoYoverse can just do something like that if they're really nervous about putting these starting characters in a rate up. That could be a pretty good solution if miHoYoverse is really that nervous about putting these characters on rate up. Another thing that I want to point out about what Star Rail does and Genshin does not do is that in Star Rail, the playable characters are actually out in the world. You can actually interact with them and they actually say some shit, and they basically stay there even after you're done with the specific story of the game. It would be really cool if we could see the playable characters out in Teyvat in Genshin Impact. They don't have to have voiced lines or anything, just have them out in the world and make the world of Teyvat a little bit more lively. I know it's a small thing, but little details like that can what make or change the world in your game. I think it would be pretty cool to see the playable characters out in Teyvat. Maybe even change their lines depending on where you are on the story. We only see the playable characters in Genshin out in Teyvat during events, but that's just it. It's only in events. I just think that it's kind of weird for this open world game to not have the playable characters out in the world. Star Rail is not even a real open world game and they have their playable characters out in their world. Why can't Genshin have our playable characters out in the world too? Anyways, that's gonna be the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think. Agree, disagree? Would you want the starting characters to be on Rate Up, or would you just prefer them to be like in a shop instead? Would you like to see the playable Genshin characters out in the world of Teyvat? Let me know in the comments. If you like the content, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye bye now. Come again soon.